Now, if you haven't yet closed your eyes, you can do that right now. And you can just begin by tensing up your hands and feet a bit, clenching those fingers into a fist, clenching those toes, and then even clenching those stomach muscles, perhaps the neck and the jaw. And I'd like you to hold on to that tension and to breathe in and hold in that breath and that tension. And then, as you let out the air with a sigh, you can just let it all go and really relax. And that's it. And just notice the relief of letting go of tension and what it would be like if someone habitually carried around that amount of tension that you were just holding all the time, to have to feel that stiff and rigid. Can you imagine what a relief it would be for someone who was habitually that physically tense to be able to just let go and to breathe a sigh of relief, to allow that comfort to flow all through their body, to let their facial muscles soften and their shoulders loosen, and to really begin to float down into a wonderfully relaxed state, knowing that you're free from having to carry around that tension anymore. And you can just begin to relax a little bit more with each and every out-breath. That's it. Letting the arms and hands begin to feel comfortably heavy, and those legs and feet to enjoy that relaxed sense of heaviness as you sink even deeper into the experience of becoming absorbed in the idea that there is some emotional tension that you've been holding on to habitually, thoughts about what should and shouldn't have happened. And I wonder how it would feel if you were free to not have to carry that anymore, to breathe a deep sigh of relief as you prepare to really let go inside. And you can just place any of those old mental movies, those replays of those past events, on a small black and white television screen, way, way over there. And as you relax over there, even deeper, just gazing at that little screen over there, those tiny images, and you can even float out of yourself to one side, maybe to the left, right, now, and getting a sense of what you look like, relaxing here. What does that face of yours look like? What do your shoulders look like as you relax physically? And how does that you, here, there, need to relax and let go emotionally as they gaze at that distant tiny black and white screen? How do they need to let go inside? And you know a lot about letting go, even if you don't know you know, because you let go of millions of memories and experiences all the time. The meal you had 3 weeks ago, the third day of your holiday a few years back, the fifth word someone said to you last Tuesday, the colour of the eyes of the shop assistant you were last served by. Scenes in movies, chapters in books, a building you visited years ago, gradually the details fade away. And of course, you can choose to bring back some of those experiences, at least in part, but you generally don't bother, because there are the kinds of events that you let go of and never give them a second thought. And you've been doing this since you were born, a skill you've developed all your life, the ability to let things go, let them recede in your mind, back and back, until you forget all the details, because you've got more important things to focus on now. And the past is simply what happened, and every event that ever occurred has an infinitely complex chain of causation behind it, including every ancestor of every person involved in those memories on that little black and white screen over there. Every part of human history and the history of the universe all contributed to those events. And if you were involved, you have your own life history, your own genetic makeup, your own childhood formative experiences, your own brain chemistry that influenced your behaviour in that time. And any other people involved also have a long trail of events behind them, becoming who they were in that time. Their childhood, their genes, their ancestors, their personalities, their life experiences, and those past events are the result of all of that. Because life is far messier than any movie or novel. Life doesn't conform to the storylines that we want. But the past is what it is. Clay has set, and there are billions of reasons why it turned out that way, and now it's past. But the past can't be remoulded. But there are parts of the present and the future that are still very much open to being moulded and influenced. And that desire to sculpt and create things in a better way is something you can use to make life better now and in the future. And sometimes you need to cut your losses. Perhaps someone owes you money, or you receive shoddy service from a shop, and if life were just, you would get the money back with a smile and an apology, but instead, after a lot of effort and rude or evasive responses from the other parties, there comes a point when you need to decide whether it's worth your time and energy. At which point do you cut your losses, because your energy is valuable and your time on this planet is limited, and you have better things to do. And you can have a significant effect on the world around you, on the present and the future, and you have the freedom to make choices about what you do and how you act now. While the past is already completely determined, the past is what happened, and fighting with what is now just history is wasted effort, because all the energy locked up in those shoulds could be channeled into making a difference in the present and the future, and you could take all of your will, all of your power, and see it as a pure laser-focused beam of light, your ability to make a difference in your own life and in the world, and notice how you've been aiming all that mighty force into the past, where it can do nothing, like trying to will the Second World War not to have happened, or to will any tragedy or crime not to have happened. Just a lot of energy spent frowning and wishing, instead of channeling it into useful action. And if you deliberately take aim afresh, aim that focus, aim that will, full of a growing deep inner resolve that enough is enough, and it's time to cut your losses and put that black and white screen far, far behind you now and switch it off to let it recede into the simple reality of what was, so you can channel the entire focus of your being into what is, what will be, and feel a real release of being free at last from the futile task of willing history to be different, and instead free to decide just how you can be the best person you can be right now, as an example to others of a well-lived life, of how you can be noble and resilient and use your innate sense of justice and fairness, not to fight with the past, nor to wish other people were different, but to open up to what actually is and what is within your capacity to change, and use that laser-like force, that inner desire to come out of those past events even stronger into the present now. That's it. Open to the reality that not every story in the future will have a perfect ending, because everyone's life has messy imperfections here and there, yet nonetheless, you can carry your resolve into the days and weeks ahead, and what it will be like to notice how, even if that old habit of being distracted by the past tries to come back, you can just honestly check if there's anything relevant to learn for the future from those memories, and if there is, you can remember what you need, and if not, then you can switch off that distant TV, because you've seen that program more than enough times way back there, and focus on how you can be the best person you can in the future, as those old stories fade further and further and further away each day, and you feel more and more relaxed in yourself. That's it. And what it will be like not so long from now to notice you haven't even thought about those things for some time. And you can listen to this session often and deepen these changes each time you listen. And here and now, you can just prepare to become wide awake. That's it. By noticing the position of your body and the sensation of the surface that you're resting on. And as you reorientate to this present moment, you can just come all the way back now, and as you open up your eyes, you might enjoy a nice stretch. And welcome back. And congratulations. That's very awesome what you just did.